This is my journey of going from to learning French from babies in just 3 weeks. I know you've seen a kid just swap between French, Italian, and Japanese. I decided to start thinking like a baby. But who am I? I'm Andrew Crespo. This is Crest Project Uno. It all started at 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m. in the morning, but I leave. It's like 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't
Foreign
know.
languages have always been something that inspired me. I love connecting with different cultures and making memories with random people and testing my limits of what I'm capable of doing. So what better way is there to learn like a baby than to speak like a baby? So I went to ask the babies.
Watch movies, read books, have lessons, go to the country and practice in there.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to do that then. His name's?
Isabella?
Traveling to Europe was a must for me. I've always loved their rustic culture, their long history, and their overall appreciation for life, shown in their sloppy pronunciations and sitting outside smoking cigarettes and just doing crazy things. So setting sail to France was a natural idea for me. So with absolutely no plans, my brother and I took a flight all the way to France. We landed in the airport without a place to stay, a person to see, or a ride out. Our only goal was to become French by the end of the 3 weeks. Now this was the adventure all babies were looking for. I had a 3-step process. Step number 1.
Alright, it hasn't even been 24 hours. I don't know, that's a little bit crazy, but I think through immersion, studying, and obsession, I can get all this done. I think I can learn French through those 3 things. And then I can finally be a Frenchie. I want to be a Frenchie fry.
This part was gonna be my favorite, the immersion. Grow a mustache. Get an accent. Do something crazy like smoke cigarettes. The most important part was you have to talk to people that are strangers. You have to go up to them, you have to ask them questions, you have to make them correct you, you have to do stupid stuff, make yourself a fool, pretend to be a baby. Believe it or not, I think this step is the hardest. I think it's also the most important. I know it's so discomfortable. Is that a word? But the best way to learn is definitely to spike your adrenaline and make yourself so uncomfortable that you'll never forget this whole situation.
So every time you have to have a conversation, it's like force yourself to push your vocabulary. I was talking to somebody and I said the word encore, which means again. But I didn't even know I knew that word. I was like, it just came from past knowledge of French that I didn't know I learned.
Le step 2. Okay, so this one's obviously the most boring one. Study. But essentially, all you gotta do is write down all these words. I find that writing is the best way for me and my brain to remember the things that I'm learning. I could talk for hours about this topic. Essentially, all you have to do is figure out what your brain knows already and how it can connect these ideas to the things you want to learn. In my specific scenario, I just had to figure out what words in English and Spanish were already connected to the phrases I wanted to learn in French. A very simple example I'm going to give you is the word study. Study is étudier in French, but it's also estudiar in Spanish. So, using this information, you can easily connect these ideas whenever you're trying to identify the common changes in language. Language is something that's super simple. If you figure out where the divergence led from Latin to that language, you can figure out and backwards engineer the way that the language was even created. This is definitely the key to understand how new words are formed in new languages. Now, this obviously only works with the Romance languages, so you just have to find other ways, like the way things look and the way words look, or different associations in your brain. And this is where I suggest you to actually sit down and try to figure out how your brain connects ideas. Okay, but what words do you pick? I always found that the easiest way of doing this was to use the most common 1,000 words.
Last minute cramming. Time to start learning some French. I think the best way to do it, first 1,000 most common words, I'm gonna just start copying it down.
Now, a good 60% of our time spent in France was in coffee shops studying. But on to step 3. This step is all about obsession. The absolute number 1 driving factor to make me learn as fast as possible had to be my obsession with the culture. It was absolutely crazy to wake up in a hostel, excited as hell, dirty as balls. But what amped me up the most had to be the sound of the French people. The pronunciations of all the words sounded so complex and so incredible. I'm someone who you can hardly understand when I'm speaking when I'm passionate, and all it sounds like is I just can't understand that these people are speaking and saying real words. It's just absolutely insane. Especially the English Frenchmen, they like to yell at each other and move their hands a lot. It's super fun, and you turn into a completely different person whenever you adopt a new language. It's like you gain a personality trait. I don't know, it's super enthralling.
Je suis ici en la Tour Eiffel. Tour Eiffel. You see? Cut. You guys see this garbage?
Anyway, the obsession continued as soon as I realized that wine is cheaper than water. We instantly fell in love with the way you could just sit outside a coffee shop, grab a pack of cigarettes, and just enjoy the view, eavesdrop on people's conversations, pick up on different nuances of the language, and overall just enjoy the culture of one of the oldest empires to ever exist. I love watching randoms celebrate with randoms. We ended up spending 3 weeks in France and countless nights in random people's houses. Met tourists from Botswana, Poland, Morocco, and random countries. And that's pretty much how I learned how to speak French. I'm sure you guys want to see how that actually came out to be. Well, here you go.
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Il y a environ 6 mois que j'ai enregistré cette vidéo. Wow. Oui. Je n'aurais jamais pensé qu'il était possible d'apprendre une nouvelle langue sans des années de formation. Mais j'espère j'espère pouvoir continuer à pratiquer l'apprentissage de langue jusqu'à un moment. Spécialement et seulement le français, je ne m'imprends pas. Comme je suis obsédé par l'apprentissage des langues. Et j'ai adoré voyager, j'ai adoré français, j'ai adoré tout du monde. Et tu es mi fan, mi ami, mon ami. Merci mucho. Siempre quiero estar hablando en español. Es muy difícil hacer, pero muchas gracias para ver. Pero, bro, thank you so much guys for watching. I realized I forgot to put this in. It's been 6 months since I actually spoke French, so it's a little terrible, but I was trying to just fix them up together. Thanks, guys. Chris Project 2.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on?